Thanks for staying with us. Now, Gauteng ANC delegates will now know their new leadership for the next 4 years. 1,117 delegates have been voting to choose a slate, one led by Panyaza Lesufi or Lebogang Maile. eNCA's Lindo Guhlekulu is at the ANC conference and he joins us now live with the latest. Lindo, there have been many hurdles with regards to this ANC provincial conference. Has voting finally gotten underway?
Voting has indeed got underway, Heidi, and I can tell you that some of the delegates of that 1,000 plus are still voting. But there is, of course, that contestation. It's highly contested in terms of all of the positions within the PEC. And I can tell you that some of the people are looking forward to understanding in terms of whether it will be Panyaza Lesufi or it will be a person who's branded themselves as Adiwele, that is Lebogang Maile, or a PEC member of that particular province, to say that are they going to be able to emerge. But I can tell you that while the interest is on who will emerge as chairperson, there are still, some important, things that are on play here. In fact, you would have heard someone saying that our treasurer, and we are in fact joined by one of the people that is in fact, a candidate for the treasurer position within the ANC in the province of Gauteng. Thank you so much for your time. You've been a PEC member within the province, but just take us through in terms of what are your plans, what are you bringing to this particular position of being a treasurer in the ANC? There are issues in terms of the fact that there's an act now that is restricting as far as fundraising is concerned, but how are you going to be able to maintain the financial status of the ANC in this province?
Okay, thank you very much, Lindo, for the interview, and good evening to your viewers. For me, I think the starting point would be for us to acknowledge the fact that, like you said, the voting is still ongoing. So we're still waiting for the results. We were hopeful because we did a lot of work as a lobby group, and we have been doing this. We've been at it for just over 18 months, so it didn't start just yesterday. So you spoke about the new Party Funding Act. So whoever's going to become treasurer, obviously, in our lobby group, we want me to emerge, must take that into consideration. The biggest problem with it, or challenge with it for all political parties, is that the fact that all parties have to declare to the IEC all the monies that they receive from funders. Something that is new, and political parties don't feel very comfortable with that. But the element of transparency in our country is very important, and it to our voters, if you are transparent about your finances, it earns you a lot of respect and trust from your voters, that you don't have anything to hide and you're not doing anything untoward with their trust to start with, let alone the money. So coming to donors, then it means as a political party you have to convince them that it is not wrong and it is not bad to support a political party that has credibility. And I'm saying this deliberately because when we were looking at our list as a lobby group, as our lobby group, when it looked at the list, was that we have to, as ANC members, make sure that we bring the glory and respect of the ANC back, and to get our supporters out there to trust the ANC again. So, and I'm not necessarily casting aspersions on anyone. Lobbying is allowed in the ANC. And it's a journey that we have to go through until we get to voting. But we considered the top 5 very carefully. And we felt that, we, should I say stable? Yeah, candidates for us to convince the electorate that we will do the right thing.
Yeah. I've been told that we have 6 minutes to conclude this particular interview. Time is of the essence in terms of that. But let me just go in there and perhaps inform our viewers that we are speaking about a lobby group that is from Panyaza Lesufi, and also just speak on the fact that there's been developments in terms of that. We were expecting that one of the people that would be standing as a candidate for this particular position position of a provincial treasurer was Bandile Masuku. He in fact declined, and you are telling me that this is because of a strategic manner. We know the ANC's Women's League has in fact been calling for more women to be part of the leaderships and top positions. Just tell us what informed that decision for Bandile Masuku to in fact step back and say they are not contesting.
Yeah, I think the starting point there would be to thank Comrade Bandile for declining the nominations. You remember, this is a process that started with branch nominations. So a lot of work went into his campaign. And for him to decline in favor of a woman who was nominated from the floor says a lot about him in terms of political maturity. So we are very grateful to him as the ANC and a lobby group of Banya, as you said that. So it shows a lot of political maturity on his side, and we appreciate it. Coming to the fact that there's 3 women that are nominated in the top 5 position, also it was a move from the Women's League. Initially it was 50-50, as you know, and it's been the 50-50 policy has been in place for quite a long time. So in Gauteng, the Women's League decided that we would like to make history, be the first province that has 3 women in the top 5 position. So he supported that. So we respect him for that.
Just a last question from myself. You are contesting someone who is in fact from your particular region, but this is of course a reflection of the representation that has this particular conference. What has been the conversations around this particular contestation? Someone from Tshwane is in fact contesting someone from Tshwane. Is this a strategic move to say that Tshwane must be represented, or did Tshwane not have a consensus as far as the fact that they need to support a certain individual between Maile and Panyaza? What were the conversations around?
Well, there's 2 lobby groups, and there's nothing wrong with contestation. Actually, it is encouraged in the ANC. And what we just described, it's a woman contesting a man, or a man contesting a man contesting a woman, which is interesting. But 2 lobby groups, nothing wrong with it. It's encouraged in the ANC. But whoever wins, for the first time, Tshwane will be represented in the top 5 in the province of Gauteng. So that's very good for us. Each region hopefully will be represented. We've got 5 regions in Gauteng. So if the outcome it reflects representation of all the regions in the top 5, and there's most probably 3 women in the top 5, that will be history for us, and we intend to push that in the ANC and hope it has a ripple effect throughout. There are other conferences coming along, and we hope that going forward in the NEC, it will be a reflection of what you have seen in Gauteng.
It's not for the lack of interest that we end this interview. I had other questions, such as the fact that you are coming from a region that is in fact not in governance. So you are emerging now to a province, or possibly would emerge to a province. So those are some of the things that I think as the PEC you would need to be dealing with in terms of...
We will be looking at that. We need to win all the 3 metros back as the ANC, and the strategy is reflected in I think all the lobby groups. All of that is at the forefront of our minds as the ANC generally. And as you know, once this is done, all the lobby groups are going to be collapsed, and the ANC will be one, and we'll be forging ahead as one ANC with a clear intention of winning all the municipalities back and giving service to the people of Gauteng. So that is important for us as the ANC.
So little time, so many questions. I'll ask you to remain here while I wrap up in terms of with the studio, but my colleague Hadi Jokos would probably have a tongue lashing at me in terms of taking too long with this interview. But Heidi, we're just trying to give you a perspective in terms of some of the ideas that are going into this particular elective conference. It is an elective conference, but the outgoing chairperson of the ANC said that it should be a festival of ideas. And you had some of the ideas here in terms of what the treasurer position would be doing, but also in terms of what they will in fact be trying to implement as far as regaining governance is concerned. So those are some of the things we're getting here. Candidates are speaking to us right now, but it's the 11th hour as far as this process is concerned, because I can tell you that we are expecting that the voting part of things will be concluded, the tallying of votes will be concluded, and we'll be hearing in terms of who the top 5 of the province is. It's an important thing because the Gauteng Gauteng is an economic hub of, the country, but also at the same time, as far as ANC politics are concerned, it is also an important province. They told us that they are the ones that lead conversations around policy changing, issues. So that is some of the things we'll be looking forward to in terms of getting a sense from the elected top 5 in terms of what they'll be doing. So that's as far as we can get right now in terms of the time we've been allocated. But I can tell you there's a lot of interest in understanding who are the people that will emerge as the new top 5 of this particular province.
Okay, great. We'll definitely check in with you a little later, and don't worry, Lindo, no tongue lashing from me. We'll get to you a little later for those developments. That's our reporter Lindo Gauteng out in Benoni at the ANC Provincial Conference. Now,